Hey everybody. So we need to talk about Charlie Coyle because Charlie Coyle has been one of the best Boston Bruins in these entire playoffs. He's really playing great hockey right now, and it was a slow, tough start for Coyle in Boston. When he got traded to the Bruins, he did not really do a whole lot in the regular season. He played 21 games for Boston after being traded. He only had 6 points in those 21 games, and really he struggled to get anything going offensively. Overall, he played pretty well, and he controlled the puck well, and you could see that there's talent there, but he just couldn't get anything going offensively and really get put any production on the board. But since the playoffs have started, Charlie Coyle has brought his game to a whole new level. And he is one of the main reasons that the Bruins are in the second round of the playoffs. I don't think Boston would have got by Toronto without Charlie Coyle playing the way that he did. Coyle was good that entire series. Coyle, I think, has been the most consistently good Bruins player of these entire playoffs. He has been good night in and night out, even when the team has been bad, and there were definitely some games in that first round where Boston was straight up bad. Charlie Coyle was never bad. He played good night in and night out. And it's continued into the second round, as last night, game one against Columbus, Coyle had 2 goals, including the game winner in overtime, and again, was a really important player for Boston. He played 16 minutes. David Krejci went down with an injury in the third period, and Coyle stepped right up into that second line center role to replace Krejci. The more I watch Charlie Coyle in a Boston uniform, and the more I watch him in these playoffs, the more I absolutely love what I see from this guy. He's stepping up at the biggest time, in the biggest moments possible. He's stepping up, and he is, doing everything he can to help this team win, and he is helping this team win, including with that game winner last night. So far in these playoffs, again, 21 games for Boston in the regular season, he had 6 points. 8 games in the playoffs for Boston, he has 6 points. He's got 5 goals and an assist already in these playoffs. He has already been worth the trade that Boston made to get him. Already what he's done in this postseason has made him worth the trade. Minnesota, you can have Ryan Shitnato. Have fun with him. He came in and scored a bunch of points in his first few games for the Wild. What did he do after that? How's Minnesota's playoff run going? They're not in the playoffs. Ryan Donato is not a game changer. Has not been a game changer for Minnesota. He's playing in the AHL right now because Minnesota's out and he got sent down to keep playing, obviously. And I don't think I think you're really going to see what Ryan Donato is next year. I've said that plenty of times before. For Charlie Coyle, he has already proven his worth to the Bruins. The way he played in the first round to help them get through Toronto has already been worth that trade in my mind for the Bruins, because I don't think they're in the second round without Charlie Coyle. He's such a great utility player. He's not a star. He's never going to be a superstar first-line player who scores a ton of goals. And that's not who he is. And he's not a guy who's going to single-handedly carry a team. But you need depth, and you need production from your depth in the playoffs. That's the only way to go deep in the playoffs. And Coyle already, 5 goals. He's centered the third line. He's been moved up into a top 6 winger role at times. We saw that a little bit last night. He can play 5-on-5. He can play 4-on-4. You can use him down low on the power play, or he can kill penalties if you need him to. He can play center. He can play wing. This guy is so versatile and just such an important depth type player for any team. And Boston had a huge hole to fill at the third line center spot. They've been struggling with that all season long. They could not find anyone that could do it in-house. And Coyle comes in and just marvelously in these playoffs has filled that third line center role. and you can move him other places in the lineup as well. He can fit in anywhere, and I've just absolutely loved what I've seen from him, not to mention the fact that he is turning it on and getting hot at the perfect time. He is showing up in the big games. He is showing up when the team needs him the most, and he's consistently showing up night in and night out. It's not like, I hate to rag on David Pastrnak, but he's not had a good playoff so far. He's had a couple good games, but other than that, he's been pretty lousy in these playoffs. He's been a turnover machine. Charlie Coyle has been good every single night. And that's the kind of consistency that you need in the playoffs, and that's the kind of production from your depth players that you need in the playoffs. So I have been thoroughly impressed with what I've seen in the postseason from Charlie Coyle. And now Marcus Johansson's starting to get going a little bit. He had the goal in Game 7 against Toronto. He had he assisted on both of Coyle's goals last night. He's got a couple of assists now. And Marcus Johansson has been a huge disappointment since coming over from New Jersey. But if he can get going too, you're going to have 3 solid lines in Boston that can score goals. And if their fourth line, Nola Chari scored last night. If their fourth line starts to score as well, Boston's going to be a very, very difficult team to beat. But Charlie Coyle, man, he is just, for me, he is already worth the trade. And if he keeps this going deep into the playoffs and really helps the Bruins go either to a cup or win the cup, I mean, he's going to be a very, very well-liked guy around here. And he already is. He's from Weymouth, local kid, and the way he's played already has the fans absolutely loving him. And I hope it continues for Coyle and for the Bruins. And he is making me really, really like him a lot as a player. He's had a phenomenal playoff so far, and we'll see how it continues to go. But he certainly, I think most people in Boston are very, very happy with what we're getting out of Charlie Coyle right now, and it was well worth the trade back a couple months ago, sending Donato to Minnesota. Boston is in win-now mode. They are a win-now team. They are trying to win the Stanley Cup this year. Ryan Donato is not going to be helping the Boston Bruins win the Stanley Cup this year. Ryan Donato is going to be spending the rest of the season in the AHL. Charlie Coyle is a guy who is helping them win now. He's a much more ready player, much more of a playoff-ready player. Don Sweeney deserves credit here for making the move, because, the Bruins didn't go big. They didn't go and get some huge, star. They didn't go after Wayne Simmons. They didn't go after Artemi Panarin. They weren't trying to make the big splash. They were trying to fill holes in their lineup with depth pieces, and Charlie Coyle has worked out just about as good as you could have possibly wanted. So Don Sweeney deserves credit for making that move, and Charlie Coyle deserves a whole lot of credit for the way he is playing right now. And everyone in Boston, I know, is very, very happy with what we're seeing from him. So great job, Charlie Coyle. Let's hope it continues. And with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.